All right, guys, welcome to our team call. It is July 30th, and we are just days away from being together in Nashville. So the excitement is definitely coming on. I don't know about you, but I've got my suitcase out. I started putting a few things in it today. Super, super excited to see you all. And this is what I'm most excited about. I don't know about you guys. These oils have got me completely fired up. I'm a big-time oil user. I've been using oils for about 8 years. And I think this is going to completely rock our world when we get these oils in our hands next week. So I'm super excited about that. Congratulations to all of our Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 earners. I so far only know of one Tier 3 earner, and I saw her name on the call. I don't think her camera is on. And there may be more that I don't know of yet, but if you guys want to give it up in the chat for Lindsay Milano, she hit Tier 3, and I think that is absolutely outstanding. There she is. Hey, beautiful. All right, are you able to unmute for 2 seconds?
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Can you guys hear?
Can you hear me now?
There we go. There we go. Okay, how did you do this, girlfriend? Because didn't you get a lot over the weekend last minute?
Yeah, I actually got 4 yesterday. And I think it was just the fruit of what I had done trying to get 10 in June, and that didn't pan out. So just follow up, and commenting on new people's posts all week, and actually the prior 2 or 3 weeks, to make sure that new people were seeing my posts on Facebook. But I think a lot of it was just, like we say, what we do in our business now, we'll probably won't see for 60 or 90 days. And so I think that was kind of what happened, but
so exciting.
I'm excited for sure. Yeah.
So exciting. So good for you. She'll have brand new luggage to sport to her Isogenics events, and how exciting. Awesome. So we'll be celebrating with you in Nashville. All right, guys, without further ado, I want to bring on our beautiful guests tonight. And I have a funny personal story about when I met Audrey. So I've watched Audrey grow up in Isogenics. I've been with the company since 2012, and I'll never forget the first time I heard her story, and I want her to share a little bit about that with you guys. And the first time I saw her at an event, Val Gerber and I were sitting out by the pool, and I watched her on her cell phone talking to a prospect, pacing out by the pool. Her hands were going all over the place. She was so excited talking to her prospect. She gets off the phone, and everybody around the pool just starts clapping because we got to hear the whole conversation. It was so awesome. And I've always loved her energy and just her love and passion and for Isogenics. And then she met the love of her life here in Isogenics. So it's just this beautiful story. It's been so much fun to watch them both evolve and grow and now be speakers and trainers on stage. And so Audrey and James, we are just so excited to have you guys here. I have goosebumps. I'm so excited. So let's just start by sharing how has Isogenics changed your life, you guys?
Oh, thank you so much for asking us to be on this call. We are so honored to be here and to share it with your team. And so we couldn't be more excited, but Isogenics has changed every part of our life. We both got started when we were 22. James was in college, and I was a nanny and a hairstylist, and we met each other, fell in love, became Isogenics millionaires, and it has just been incredible, an amazing journey.
And so you guys are the youngest millionaires. I definitely wanted to hit on that because that's absolutely crazy. So you're how old now?
I just turned 27.
27.
So we went millionaire 26 and 27.
Jeez, that is unreal. How many people wish we would have had this when we were 26 and 27? And we do have a lot of young people we're attracting now, and I'm sure we've got a lot of young people on this call right now. We've got our own little start movement now growing in our team, and my son's full-time doing Isogenics now, along with another John Stankiewicz is on the phone, full-time doing Isogenics. So we're definitely attracting people like you, which we're super, super excited about. All right, so what I want to start with is, will you share, Audrey, your story on how you heard about Isogenics? Honestly, when I heard you share the very first time on stage about your laundry. I don't know if you remember what you said, but I cracked up and I was just thought that was the greatest story.
That was at ICU Charlotte, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so my Isogenics journey starts when I was 19. I became a nanny for Herb and Patty Cepeda, top earners in Isogenics. God really aligned us. I was praying for a job, and I was literally in a parking spot crying for a job. In the middle of my prayer, before I said amen, my phone rang, and it was Patty Cepeda. So, I mean, it's just, and when I look back, the whole orchestration of how God moved through our life, my life, his life, and our life together, it's been so amazing. So I became a nanny for Herb and Patty, and for 2 years, we laugh about it because I was folding the laundry and I was washing the dishes, and I watched them transform people's lives, but the timing was just not my timing. I was very young. I had never heard of network marketing before. I didn't really know much about anything, really. What do you know a lot about at 19? So I finally said yes to Isogenics because I gained 35 pounds. And within days, I felt different and I felt so convicted. I was pulled and drawn by a vision that was bigger than myself. I didn't know what I was doing. I only really understood that I could make money while I slept, and that made sense to me. And so I really began building and growing the business in 2013. And 7 months into my journey, I got on a 3-way phone call with James's sister. And she was just this light, bright, beautiful 19-year-old girl. So I was 22 years old now, and she had an amazing product experience and wanted her friends to hear about it. So I drove from Knoxville to Chattanooga, and where we held our little event was at James's house. And so James was like not on board. He was so mean. He did not like Isogenics, and he did not like me. And I don't know how. I thought I was awesome, but he did not. He was not into me. And timing was everything. Yep. So anyways, James started because he saw the compensation plan, paid for his last semester of college in 1 week's pay. And then we got together, got married, and 5.5 years later, we've been building together for 3 years now. And he built a very successful business center on his own, as did I. And then we fell in love, and that's really our story. So
that's so awesome. So James, we have to hear from you. I don't know how you couldn't think she's the cutest thing in the whole world. But how did it evolve for you? So your sister enrolled, and then you enrolled with her. Is that how it went?
Exactly. Yeah. So I was going into my last year of college, and I was studying psychology. So, I've always loved people, but had no clue what I was going to be doing after school. As I find that a lot of college students, the predicament that a lot of college students are in. And so I had heard about multi-level marketing, network marketing, direct sales, this kind of thing. And I had looked into a lot of different companies and actually tried a few, and just had a bad taste in my mouth, if I'm being honest. I just wasn't portrayed it in the right way. I didn't see the good side of network marketing, whether it was through the conversations, the people who introduced me to it, the product line, or the compensation plan. It wasn't right for me. Those companies and whatnot, it didn't sing. And so when I heard Isogenics, I said, okay, this is one of those things. You guys are all liars, and I will not take what you're saying to heart, because I had been hurt, and I felt like, misled by people that I previously trusted. And so I came into this with a lot of skepticism and a lot of pride and ego, thinking I knew better. And it took me about 4 months, honestly, before I took an open, very objective look at what this was and how it worked. And meanwhile, while I was being all, in my own world about it, Allie, my sister, was already building a business. She was going and hanging out with Audrey all the time, driving from Chattanooga to Knoxville and learning how, the kind of mechanics of network marketing and Isogenics works. And so when we sat down 4 months later, she was like, hey, this actually works, and I'm actually doing this. And so coming from a little sister standpoint, I was like, well, you've got to be kidding me. You're making money with this? Okay, then I can do this. It's true. Because you have this perception that everybody that's making money is some sort of poster child, or they have some sort of magic network, or, there was some magic button and they just became, successful. And I saw with my own eyes, my family member, my little sister, for goodness sake, make money with this. And I said, okay, I can absolutely do this. So that's when I went to, my very first event was New Year's Kickoff 2014. I saw it all. I got, so engaged with everything, and the rest of it is really history. I knew from that point on that Isagenix was going to be the vehicle that set my life completely free. And then it was really cool just how
because when he made that decision, we were not into each other.
Right.
And we were really
very separately.
Yeah, we were really just business partners for 2 years. Like, we did not think we would ever be together. And so we ended up, James started pursuing me in 2015, and I said no for 8 months. I was like, no, James, it's never going to happen. You
we
are
can talk about
friend.
Persistence in business and in life later.
So anyways, in August of 2015, he wore me down, and I finally was like, okay, let's try this thing. So, and then the rest is history with our love story.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. I just love it. So we're getting so much more than just Isagenix stuff here tonight. I just love it. I love seeing you guys together building this business, and so happy. I love following you on social media. It's just precious, and I can't wait till you get a puppy.
I know, me too. I want one so bad.
Okay.
Everybody team.
Oh gosh. All right. So let's talk about, who are your ideal prospects? Do you guys really look for young start people like yourselves? Are you enrolling a lot of them? Are you enrolling older people? Both? Like, what are you looking for, and how are you going about it?
Yeah, good question. So now, 5 years in, we have become very specific on the type of person that we are looking for, and the person that we are really wanting to link arms with, specifically from a business standpoint. Now, in the beginning, I'll speak for myself, it was really anybody and everybody. And that's who I encourage everybody initially. This is what Herb told me in the beginning, Herb Cepeda. He said, listen, you really don't have the luxury as a new person to choose who and who you're going to work out with. You are building a business from the ground up right now. You'll take anybody, and you will help anybody and everybody. And you never know who's going to pop and who's going to really take this and run with it. So in the beginning stages, it was everybody. I was so on fire about this. We both were, just going and sharing it with the world. We gravitated, obviously, the people that were our age probably gravitated towards us more than anybody else. But now, 5 years in, we've really honed into a specific, kind of demographic of person and personality, so to speak, that we're looking for. That just helps us kind of zero in a little bit more in terms of the qualities, the attributes, the season of life people are in, to make the whole relationship that we're wanting to build with people that are coming in that much more fluid.
Yeah, and I did an Instagram training that Zach and Eden have on their website, and it's all about finding your ideal prospect. And so if you haven't already listened to that, I would encourage you to listen to that, because we really began honing in 2017 on our picture perfect ideal business partner. And again, that took a lot of time to hone that in. Like James was saying, we talked to everyone and anything that would just even pay even the slightest bit of attention, they were going to hear about Isagenix. And we needed that. We needed to hone our skill. We needed to learn how to speak and connect with all different types of people. And so when you are first beginning your Isagenix journey, do not limit yourself. Speak to every person and everything. And then as your business begins to grow, network marketing is ever evolving. The skills do not change. However, the understanding and the evolution of Instagram and marketing yourself and branding yourself, it is changing. So we have to be really great at adapting. And so now our prospect, we've really honed into our ideal avatar. We've given our avatar a name. Emma is my girl's name. She's married for 2 years, is a teacher, looking for something like network marketing, specifically Isagenix. She loves fashion, and I've just honed her in so that when I go out into the world, I am keeping my eyes and my ears peeled open to meet and to come in contact with an Emma. And that didn't happen my first year or 2 years or 3 years, or it started in about 4.5 years of building our Isagenix business, where we really started to hone in. And that's where we're at right now, is getting very specific on what it is that we're desiring.
Yeah, and you guys, that's really a golden nugget for you. I paid a lot of money to coach with a business coach who told me when I go to sleep at night to close my eyes and literally visualize who I wanted to attract into my business. What would they look like? Female, male, how tall, carrying a briefcase or not? You know, what are they carrying? That's exactly what you're saying. But these guys got it for free instead of paying thousands of dollars for it. So thank you for saving them a lot of money. That's fabulous. All right, so let's talk about how about as far as building this together? So we have a lot of people building all by themselves here. We have several couples now building together. So let's talk about that. Like, how are you guys successfully building together? Because I'm assuming, but like most couples, you have different skill sets and different things that you're both gifted at. How does this work for you?
It's been a really fun journey, I will say that, because we came into this a little bit unorthodox. We both built a business. We both were used to doing everything on our own and facilitating our own team calls, making announcements, doing all of it. And so when we came together, for a while there, we're both still doing everything and kind of
separate,
overlapping, and just, it wasn't bad, but it was just a waste of energy because we were both doing the same things. And so, through time and some mentorship that some other leaders in Isagenix who build together kind of shed light to in terms of how we do it, they said, hey, pick your strengths and focus on that. And you guys now are building as a team, so, build like one. And so we've really, started and continued to develop that with us in terms of how we go about it. I am more of a product coach type of person. And she really, in a large sense, is doing enrolling and doing a bunch of connecting via Instagram right now. It's crazy how many people are just coming out of the woodworks and connecting with her. And I love it. And there's no fight and there's no qualm with that at all. We say it doesn't matter who gets the job done as long as the job gets done. And so we're still, working in that, but that's the stuff we're working
on. And I'll say one of the biggest obstacles that couples can face when building this business is not having an understanding that there are seasons of change. For example, our business goes through a different season where I could be doing 80% of the work and James could be doing 20. And then a season could shift and change and James could be doing 90 and I could be doing 10. And then it would change and it would be 40 and 60, 50 and 50. And so there is an understanding, and you have to have communication with your spouse. Because we are full-time Isagenix, we do life together 24/7. And so there is an understanding that we have where we know that, hey, you know what? I am making all of these connections with Instagram right now, and I've enrolled 18 people in the last 6 or 7 weeks. And out of those people, James has done the product coaching. You cannot decipher what work has been more profitable than the other person's work. We come together as a one united stand with an understanding that I may be a higher enroller right now. He may be a better product coach. The roles may be reversed in different seasons of building our business. And so as long as you can go into if you're working with your spouse and having that understanding that it really doesn't matter who gets the job done as long as the job gets done, there will be appreciation. There will be so much gratitude and thankfulness in your heart for the other person, and there will be no qualms. And that was something that we really had to learn in the beginning. It was very challenging for me personally to come into a business and then to take the reins off and to say, okay, how are we going to do this together? Like, I had a very big challenge in the beginning. And we really did have to seek counsel from people who are a lot more mature than we are being able to do this. But that's been the greatest thing for us. And so we know what our strengths are. He is the most amazing human being when it comes to getting to the heart of people and figuring out their junk and getting it out of them and putting them right on the path. Whereas I'm like, if you want to become a Crystal executive, then I'm going to get you there. But he's a lot better when it comes to that one-on-one, let's get to the heart of things. And that is just as important as someone who comes into your business and says, I want to run with you. So we just had to figure it out.
It's embracing, I think, the dynamics and dimensions of relationship. And like she was saying, always having clear and open communication. We have seen so much, it's really sad to see when couples build up resentment and animosity towards the other person because of something that is being done or isn't being done that was expected or not communicated. And it's not a competition. It's not a competition at all. And sometimes we can think that it is. And that's a huge trap when you think that you're in competition with your husband or your wife or your boyfriend or whatever it is to build a bigger tower. That's not what it's about. And so I think you can stay focused on that. The simplicity, the smoothness of your business, you will find that it really is a blessing to build it together as opposed to just having everything and doing it yourself.
And just one last thing, my dad told us, he said, you guys are not in the business of competing. You guys are in the business of completing each other. And that was just like, boom, dad with the wisdom. And so we've really taken that to heart. And we said, we're going to complete each other in this business.
I love that. And I'm writing it down. Okay. The other thing I want to say is for those of you not building with a spouse, this is what they're saying will also work with your leaders. So we're not in competition with our leaders. We are all together as a team. I love that. I love what your dad said. Okay. So what I want to ask you guys next is, I know you are great at creating leaders. You guys already have built 4 Crystal executives, correct? So
yes, personal executives. Yep.
Well, and probably a lot more on your team. So let's talk about that. We do follow you on social media, so we see all the fun that you guys have. And I want to talk about investing into your team in a minute and some of the team building things that you do. But right now, how are you creating leaders? How are you taking people from maybe sharing to building a bigger income for themselves?
Yeah, that's a great question. You want to start?
So first and foremost, and this is what I was talking to somebody earlier today about, the whole idea of expectations when people are coming into this business is massive. And if we as enrolling sponsors don't have a conversation as far as expectations, what is going to be expected from us and what is going to be expected from them coming in, there is so much frustration that can come from that. And so we actually learned something from Susan Sly. Is that what you were going to talk about a little bit?
Yeah.
Susan Sly, shared with, it's really just a philosophy that she has and something that she applied to her team that we just adopted as our own, where when somebody new comes into the system, before they even get their box, you set the expectation, that they're going to have results. And we have this conversation with every single person. We say, listen, when you have the results that we know you're going to have, and you're nodding your head because you know what's coming, people are going to start noticing and they're going to start asking. One of 3 things can take place. 1, we can take those people. You can send them to me. I will gladly enroll them. I will gladly coach them, and I will be so thankful. 2, we can take those people and we can enroll them, and we can actually kind of offset the cost of your products to where you can get your products for free. Or we could take those referrals and we could actually not only offset your products, but we could actually help, build a secondary income for you. And while we're at it, I just want you to think of the largest bill you have, the largest reoccurring bill you have, and what it would mean to you if that could be eliminated from your monthly expenses. Which one would you see yourself at right now, a 1, 2, or 3? Now, here's the cool part. You haven't put them in any type of pressure situation where they feel compelled to answer one. You've just given them 3 options, and you've said, listen, where are you landing right now? And if they say, oh, I'm probably a 1, I don't really feel like doing this quite yet. Perfect. You just got a new avenue of referrals that are going to be coming to you. And if they answer either 2 or 3, that's, an inclination that they are interested in building this as a business. And when they start having those results, you can show them the money. But having that conversation in the beginning, you guys, can seem very trivial, but it is so impactful for not only their product success, but just helping them get a little bit of money, which all of us, been around for a while, know that helping somebody make a little bit of money increases your retention dramatically over the long run.
And that's the first touch of leadership. Leadership is something that has to be developed, and it's something that has to be extremely intentional. One of the things that James and I have been extremely intentional with is really focusing on the people who do want this 100%, and then setting up specific Zoom calls, one-on-one Zoom calls, or we meet with them in person. They obviously will read that GoPro book. If this is something that they want to do, they read that GoPro book within their very first week of starting Isagenix. And then when we meet with them, we go over the compensation plan. We write out the compensation plan. We show them that Crystal Executive is their goal. It is our standard, and it didn't used to be our standard. We have grown into this understanding of saying, hey, we're actually cutting people short and robbing them of massive success if we're not setting the standard that Crystal Executive is what they need to achieve, because when they hit it, they're going to have the belief that their personally enrolled can hit it. And let me tell you, one of the coolest things that have happened in James and I's business this year is that our personally enrolled hit Crystal Executive. Her personally enrolled hit Crystal Executive. Her personally enrolled hit Crystal Executive. So that was 3 PET deep of Crystal Executives. That is deep level of leadership. And the way that that happens is, number one, by showing the compensation plan. It's number two, being in direct conversation with that leader that wants to be developed on a daily basis. Now, that does not mean, for those of you who are working Isagenix part-time, that does not mean getting on an hour phone call every single day with your personally enrolled that wants that deep level of leadership. That's not what I'm talking about. Most people don't have the time for it. But what it does mean is, it does mean sending them a 30-second voice memo while you're running out the door to work in the morning and saying, hey, this is Audrey. I just want you to know that I believe in you. You've hit consultant. Your next goal is Crystal Manager. That means you've created 2 consultants. Who can we talk to this week? Who can we help set up a Facebook status so that they can get their products paid for? Can't wait to celebrate with you. Let me know how I can help you. 30 seconds, done. You're out the door. And so leadership really does involve a lot of one-on-one personal mentoring until that person can stand on their own. It is pouring and building belief in them until they can believe it themselves. And every person rises through leadership at a different pace. It took me 1 full year to hit executive. We had a girl on our team hit Crystal Executive in 45 days. So they're doing it a lot faster than we did. And they're rising through the ranks a lot faster than we did, which is really what you want within your organization. So we always tell our team, never underestimate the power that 30-second voice memos can have when it comes to developing leadership within your team. The more people can have belief poured into them, the more they're going to take the posture of an Isagenix millionaire. And I know that because Herb and Patty really poured that belief into me, and my parents poured that belief into me until I believed it myself. So that is a little short blurb of what we really do to number one, have that first touch of leadership, to have that second touch, and then the continuous touches as they are growing into the 1 stars, 2 stars, and 3 stars within our organization.
Love that. Okay, this is kind of off topic, but are your parents involved in the business too?
So I enrolled, my dad was the first person I enrolled. I said, Dad, I'm going to be the youngest millionaire in this company. I need you to support me. And my heart burned for my parents to have freedom, because I watched my parents work so hard. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and I helped them, and they make $150,000 a year with Isagenix now. So really, really grateful. And we're working towards James's parents now to get them to that place too.
So awesome. It's so awesome to do it with your family and your friends. And I know, I don't know about you guys, not all of my family has embraced this. Let's say that. And I had Jay Bennett on a call a couple of weeks ago, and he had us all hysterical because not one person in his family does this with him. Not one. So you guys are kind of lucky, but I mean, I'm sure you probably have some that haven't quite.
Yeah, we do.
Of course.
Yeah, we do.
Of course.
So it's not like, for those of you watching, you're probably saying, oh my gosh, I wish my family could see the light. It doesn't always happen for all of us, and that's okay. There's people praying for a solution, and those are the people we're really looking to help. So, awesome. All right. I want to talk about your team and how you invest in them and what you do. So some of our people here are newer, and they're really wanting to build a business, and they haven't done much with, you know, maybe incentivizing or recognizing or, you know, pouring belief into their teams like you guys do. And I see you guys doing retreats and fun things like that. So maybe share with everybody, what did you used to do when you were newer and maybe you didn't have the funds to do bigger things? And, you know, how has that journey progressed for you guys?
So that's a really, really great question.
So really, I would say, you know, as a foundation, we look at our team's culture. We, you know, what do you want to see more of in your business? What you want to see more of, that's what we celebrate. And more than anything, we want to, at least for us and our team, we just want to be a community of people who enjoy hanging out with each other, who celebrate each other's successes, and who push each other to be, you know, better individuals. And so, you know, when it comes to at least just that as a foundation, looking at your team's culture, that kind of helps give you a framework of saying, okay, well then how can I invest in these people if this is the kind of culture that I'm wanting to portray? So yes, now we do incentive trips. We run contests where if people hit, you know, executive, or if they hit a certain point, whatever it is, we will take them on a retreat, or we will, you know, give them some sort of reward that will generally, if not always, go back into their business in some way, shape, or form. But, you know, in the beginning, it really went around either products or events. You guys, those are always a safe bet. And hear me when I say this, it is never too early to start investing back into your business, ever.
Right.
If we started and we were taught to invest right back into our business. If we can invest PIBs back into our business, let's do it. Like, that's how traditional businesses grow, especially in the beginning years, because they just pour all the money they're making back into the system so that it can help it all compound and grow. So even if it's just a box of e-shots, hey, listen, you have one person this week. If you get to consultant by the end of the week, I'll give you a box of e-shots. Something like, if you get crystal manager by the end of the week, you know, I'll buy you a box of e-shots and have it shipped straight to your door. You're getting the BV anyways. You're incentivizing that person and you're propelling that person to get into action, and then they're getting rewarded, and the BV that you ordered is already going through your business anyways.
Right.
That, and I would say the second thing would be to events. We always build to events. Always, always, always. So whether it's an event ticket, whether, you know, it's somehow helping with travel or giving them a gas card or whatever it is, get creative with it. We've had so much fun getting creative with how to bless our team. But it is obviously a trade-off where we say, hey, if you do this, we'll give you this. And it's not just, hey, if you necessarily go talk to 5 people, we'll give you, a box of shakes. There needs to be some results. But that's what helps kind of propel and perpetuate the growth within your team. And it can start so small. The gifts really don't have to be extravagant $10,000 trips or anything like that. Sometimes we can think they are.
Very, very small. When we were first getting started, I remember I would go to the Kroger and I would get $4.99 flowers. Mm-hmm. And I was making $150 a week as a hairstylist. When I first started my Isogenics business, I did not have money to throw around, but I did understand the importance of investing in people. I did understand the importance of making people feel significant and valued and honored just to be who they are. People are so valuable. And if we treat people like the kings and the queens that they actually are, your culture within your organization will be something that will be the most beautiful organization in the entire world. And so I would go and I would get $4.99 flowers and I would bring it over to their house and I would write them a handwritten note. And that was what I could afford at the time. And then I overheard one of the top leaders say, take your PIBs. If you get a double PIB for your week, take your PIB and put that aside to invest back into your team. And I said, well, that's really smart. So I'm going to take the PIBs and I'm going to invest it back in their team. And so I looked at the one person who was really wanting to run with me, and I would have my, at the time it was $25 PIB. So I'd have my $25. And I said, if you enroll 2 people this week, I'm going to give you an extra $25 to do this. That was what I could afford. It didn't put me in a hole. It made me filled up with joy that I got to serve somebody and give something back to them. And that's how it started. Just like James said, little box of e-shots. Here's one for free. Maybe that there's somebody in Isagenix that you love, and you send them a Facebook message and you say, hey, I've got a girl who's going for Crystal Executive. When she hits it, would you be open to doing a free 30-minute coaching call? That's free. We would get Herb and Patty to do a free coaching call for the winner of blah, 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 blah. And it worked. And so that's really what we did. And then it progressed into something more beautiful. And here's what I will say. When you have a heart of service and a heart of giving, you will be so surprised at when you give without putting yourself in a hole. Don't put yourself in a hole. But when you give, you will receive back so much more. And it's not coming from this place of giving with an expectancy to get back, but we believe in God, and there is a law that God put into place where you reap what you sow. And so when you sow into somebody, you can expect a reward and a reaping back for the sowing that you put in. Expect the reaping of the connections that you put in and day out. Expect the reaping of the follow-ups, like that beautiful girl who said she followed up and she connected with everyone. She got 4 enrollments yesterday.
So good.
She reaped what she sowed. So that's really how we started, and it has progressed. We did our first exclusive executive retreat this past summer, and it was beautiful and it was wonderful, and we're seeing the fruit from it now. So it starts somewhere and it can evolve into something even bigger.
Yeah. And I just want to clarify on one thing, because I know we have, I swear, Audrey and James, I have the most compliant team in the whole company.
Oh, yeah.
We follow the rules to the T.
Yeah.
So guys, we know we can't entice for enrollment. So you can do incentives like this. You just can't put it all over Facebook. So I'm not going to put on my wall, okay, anyone that, enrolls this week, I'm giving you this. So you can't do that. But privately, you can certainly do incentives for your team, which is exactly what they are sharing with you. So I just wanted to clarify that so that you could all be comfortable and rest assured you're able to do this. And I've heard, and gosh, I'm drawing a blank on who it is, but one of the top leaders, they save their leadership pool income and they pour all of that back into their team. That's heavy.
What's amazing is that this Isagenix pays us in so many different ways. That's a great idea. You can just choose one, and you can say, the holiday bonus or whatever bonus pool or the PIBs, that this is just, I'm not going to touch this, and this is going to go back into my team. There's so many fun ways and you will, we guarantee you will see a shift in your organization when you start doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for those of you that are brand new, and maybe you're not even to the point where Audrey was being able to do $4.99 flowers, a handwritten card goes such a long way. I do that all the time, still to this day. People love that. You don't get a whole lot of handwritten cards anymore. So just notes of gratitude is so, so important. All right, guys, as we start to wrap things up, I really want to hear any of your top business tips. So many people going to celebrations, so fired up right now. They'll be coming home incredibly fired up after we, get the new products and all of that. So what are some of your best business tips that you can share to people here that really, really want this? They want to be where you guys are. It may not be that they might be past the youngest millionaire stage, some of them, but how can they be successful like you guys?
Wow. Do we have another hour and a half? There's so much in my brain. One of the things that, instantly just kind of first popped into my head is don't ever underestimate how quickly your business can change. We sometimes can think that our business, it can only grow at this certain rate, right? Oh, I can only rank advance one time in a year. Two or three times is ridiculous. And I would just encourage you right now, just to not ever underestimate how quickly your business can grow, especially coming out of an event like Celebration. Now with that, to really kind of get into a business training point, you know, to get where we've gotten, it hasn't been short of any sacrifices. We've made sacrifices. We have had to make decisions, tough decisions, where it's not like a clear right and a clear wrong. It's like, this is good, and this might just be like a little bit better. But we've had to delegate where we spend our time, what we spend our time doing, who we spend our time with. And that started from day one, from our first 90-day action plans of saying, listen, we're going to cut the tie with some relationships. We're going to cut the tie with some habits. If this is something that we really say we're going to have and embody and actually blow this thing out of the water, things have to change in our environment. If your environment right now, whether it's in your living space, in your workspace, is not conducive to bring out the best in you and the most productive you that you can, especially in the next 90 days when we're all going to be running, the first and foremost thing I would say would be change your environment. If that's changing the color, if that's rearranging your room, if you've had a stale room and it's been the same way for the past 20 years, just move the furniture around. It'll cultivate a whole different side of creativity in there that you would have never thought. But sometimes we can be afraid to make those shifts. So what I would say from a business standpoint, if there's any parts of you that are still a little bit apprehensive of, can I do this? Do I really believe myself? Will other people really take me seriously? Trust me, there are people who are making 7 figures in this company who still ask themselves that same question. You're not alone. You're not silly. You're not behind. But you do have a choice right in front of you saying, what am I willing to do over the next 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 months that's so drastically different than what I've done in the past to go and have a life in the next 10, 15, 20 years that I could have only dreamed of. And I believe one of the biggest ways you can change that is through your environment.
Yeah. I've got 2 things that I want to share. The first thing is going to be a mindset thing. And then the second thing is going to be a tangible business tip. So the first thing is your words over your life and your business are just as significant as the prospecting phone calls that you're going to make. When I first started Isogenics, what was in my alignment for this business was I wanted to be one of the youngest Isogenics millionaires. That is not and was not everybody's desire for Isogenics. What is your alignment with Isogenics? Because if you try to grab this person's alignment and this person's vision and this person's goal, and it isn't in congruent with you and what you're looking for, you will hit wall after wall after wall. So when I figured out my alignment for myself, and it was that I really, truly desired, I couldn't have conjured up this deep desire on my own, because if I conjured it up on my own, I would have quit Isogenics already. It was something that was so deep embedded into me. And for a little over 5 years, every single day, I journaled out, thank you, God, I'm going to be the youngest Isogenics millionaire. And I had Post-it notes everywhere, and I spoke it out over my life, and I declared it, and I believed it, and I felt it, and I said, this is going to happen. And there were days and there were cycle weeks where I said, oh, I don't know if it's going to happen. And James would go like this. He'd be like, don't you stop. You have said this for 4 years. You keep declaring it. And I said, oh gosh, you're right. What am I doing? I had a moment of weakness. We all have these moments of weakness. Never, ever underestimate the power that your words carry and the alignment that is for you in this business. Be released. If you do not want to be an Isogenics millionaire, be released in saying, you know what, if you want to be a 7-figure earner, then walk in the alignment and go after that. So that would be the first thing, speak it out. Okay, the second thing, when it comes to a tangible business tip, for those of you who are coming to Celebration, we are exiting Celebration with a 90-day action plan. For 90 days, we are going to be building and going after this business. James and I have executed 3 very successful 90-day action plans. We've attempted all of them, and we've really done 3 successful 90-day action plans. And those 3 successful 90-day action plans they changed our entire business. And what we committed to in these 90 days is we committed to focusing solely on Isogenics. The first 30 days of our 90-day action plan, we're connecting with as many people as we can and enrolling them into the business. So the first 30 days was solely an enrollment spree. And we talked and we talked and we set up meetings and we asked people if it could take a look. And we ate and we breathed and we slept Isogenics. And that was what we had to do. The second 30 days was taking those enrollments and pushing them up those ranks, taking those enrollments, helping them get their products paid for, pushing them to Crystal Manager, Crystal Director, Executive. We were pushing them up those ranks. And then the final part of that 90-day action plan was really solidifying and breathing into the leaders, solidifying the belief, showing them the compensation plan, giving them opportunity to speak for 10 minutes on a team call, allowing them to have a voice. Because when you allow people to have a voice, they feel needed, they feel wanted, they feel like their voice matters, because it does. And so we really said, you know what? These 90 days are going to be so intentional. So if I could give you my business tip, would say, you know what? For 90 days, just like what James said, what are you going to give up in order to go up? If you just want to get your products paid for, your 90-day action plan is going to look different. But if you want to be a six-figure income earner in Isogenics, which I believe you guys do, then being intentional with those 90 days and asking as many people as you can to take a look at what Isogenics can be, pushing those people up the ranks and diving deep in that leadership, you will look back after those 90 days and know that that was a marking for your business that will never be the same. So that's what I would say to that.
I love it. And I love when I have guests on the call that say the same things that I believe and I say, and you guys say it in such a cuter way. So hopefully it resonated with everyone even better. And I'm hearing, I hope you guys are reading the comments. It's pretty funny. Audrey, you need to help it, girl. And I will send you everyone's comments tomorrow, but I just can't thank you guys enough for sharing of your time with us tonight. I just adore you. I've loved watching your success and watching you grow in this business. And you give hope to so many young people that are building the business now. I know my son's on the call with his girlfriend tonight, tuning in, and we've got John on the call, some young people on our team, but also some of us older ones that have kids that we really want to see this vision. And so, so my very last question, I thought I was done, but this just came to me. For those of us that have kids coming up, so they maybe they're not 18. I'm bringing my whole family with me to Celebration. So you got to meet a couple of them last year on the streets in Las Vegas, but I'll have all 4 of my kids here this year. So for those of us that have kids and want them to see the vision, what's the best advice you can give? Because you know, sometimes it's hard with your kids. We don't want to push too hard. There's resistance. Any advice on that? And that'll be the last question, I promise.
Yeah, so advice on family members bringing in younger kids and how to work with them. Okay, get them plugged into the START community. Get them plugged in. We are one team in START. It does not matter who's financially connected to what. There are so many outlets in the START group as far as calls go, as far as connections go, to allow them to be able to relate to people in the same season of life. They will be encouraged, they will be inspired, they will get and be a part of accountability groups that people just form in there. And really it'll be exactly what they need to get themselves up and off the ground. And that's what I would say.
Were you asking as well how to present it to a young person that's not started yet, like your child who's not started yet? Was that also the question?
That could be too. You know, I think I've got a lot of people that ask me, you know, what did you do to get Tyler so engaged? He's 23 now. He wasn't always that way. For me, it was taking him to New Year's kickoff. I brought him to San Antonio, and he thought everyone that did that was like me. And then when he saw people like you, that fired him up. So, you know, and I think that's another key, is getting them to the events to see all the young people that are having success, for sure.
Absolutely. I think for me, as a young person, getting into a room with people with that high energy. I mean, it feels like you're at a concert. It feels like you're at a rave or something, which all young people can resonate with. And then they see all the people going up there and being successful and having fun and looking great and being healthy. And I mean, who could not want to be a part of that? So like you said, if you do have the opportunity to get your family to an event, I mean, you want to talk about a business investment, that would be a well worthwhile investment, I believe. And
then also use Instagram as well. Encourage your children to follow other young people on Instagram. It is the most powerful tool right now to build your network marketing business. And it is the most powerful tool to build connections like I've never seen before. And so that would be my encouragement, is when they see another young person's Instagram and what they're doing through the stories, have them follow Start Your Life's Instagram. It is amazing. The Instagram stories and the Instagram takeovers are absolutely incredible. So I would highly, highly recommend for them to follow that. Even them dripping and seeing all the people and then getting to that event, it would change everything.
Awesome. And guys, I will find Audrey's training that she did for Zach and Eden and post it under this recording when I get the recording uploaded too, because I haven't heard that. I saw it somewhere, meant to get back to it and never did. So I will share that. Well, I love you guys. Can't wait to see you next week.
Love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. I know our team just really, really benefited from your wisdom tonight, and it's so cool that you're so willing to share with everyone, and we can't wait to see what's next for you. We really can't.
Thank you so
much.
Maybe
a puppy.
I hope so.
Thank you so much.
I can tell she wants one. I've seen very subtle hints.
That's right.
Have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.